Hi friends, we're here to talk a little bit about the meaning of the Passover Seder and Yeshua's Last Supper with his disciples, and what's the meaning of that for us as Messianic Jews, both to our Jewish friends and to our Christian friends. How does that all come together? We're just going to give you little bits of insight here real quick to invite you. The first thing is, these are, as you can see, some of the elements of the Jewish Passover Seder. And with the Jewish Passover Seder, we actually have a book called the Haggadah, which tells you the stories and the rituals of how to have the meal with your children. Now let's remember, this is a biblical commandment to celebrate this holiday with a meal and with everything else that goes upon it. And I want you to think about that, because the spirituality comes down into a meal. And this is the first thing I want to do, is invite you, all of our friends around the world, to say, come and join us. This is a table celebration. It's for family, it's for children, it's for friends. And I don't know how we could do this. I was thinking of the pictures of the Last Supper, like Da Vinci's Last Supper and Salvador Dali's. How could we invite you all to our table? But that's what we want to do. We want you to feel invited. And that's the first thing to think about, is that this is a covenant celebration. It's not just an idea of theology. It's the family comes together with friends. You eat together. It's making a covenant. Now, this covenant goes together from the ancient Jewish Passover, and then with the years it came up and it became the last Passover supper of Yeshua, which then became the international communion of all Christians throughout the centuries. Now I just want you to put those three things together. When those things get lined up in your mind, all of a sudden you're going to see the history of Judaism and Christianity, religion, faith in a different light. It's just going to boop, 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 line up the pieces for you. It starts first in history with the Jewish Passover Exodus, then coming up to Yeshua's last Passover supper celebration with his disciples, and then going on to the nations around the world for the international communion. What we call Passover, past, present, and future. When you get all those pieces lined up, it gives you a sense not only where we're going, not only where we've been, but where you're going. You know, they say when you look at your origins, you can find out where your destinies are. If you just take one of them, you don't see any direction. But when you start with the Passover, from the Passover to the last Passover supper of Yeshua, to the international communion, when you get all those three lined up, it's going to tell us something about the coming of the kingdom of God in Yeshua.